Publishing and reporting data. When data is produced in its raw form, it's often hard to quickly analyse and draw conclusions. For example, if presented with this data for unit results, it's difficult or perhaps time-consuming to identify areas where improvement might be necessary in the assessments. Whereas, when the information is reported in another way, for example in a graphical format, areas for improvement or consideration might be identified. This graph shows the class average for each of the assessment. Points for consideration could include: do the peaks show evidence of good delivery or support? Or do they show assessment leniency? Do the troughs indicate that the assessment is too difficult or not at the right level? Or that the students have been given poor delivery or support? The graph could include the maximum and minimum mark, which may provide more meaningful information for discussion, depending on the requirement of your report. Again, using the same raw data, how easy is it to identify the number of students who've passed or failed on the final grade of this unit if their pass rate is over 50%? This report is a more appropriate type, as it's easier to analyse the results to answer this question. Once the appropriate reporting type is chosen, contextualised reports need to be identified to improve the efficiency of the data use and also reporting type. Note that it's also important that the appropriate graphical representation is used for the data analysis, i.e. a line graph to show trends and a bar graph or histogram to show individual data sets. If asked to compare the grades of Roz and Bill, or two students, a line graph may be the appropriate reporting type. But if the report is not contextualised, the report can contain a lot of clutter, making the reporting type less efficient. This is a contextualised report, specifically looking at Bill and Roz's grades for each assessment. A contextualised report contains the minimum amount of data that allows you to acquire the information necessary for your task. By using a contextualised report, the data is reported in context, the report becomes more usable, and the information is easier to extract and to interpret.